Today is the first episode of Flim Flam Films.
Oh,
and Zane promised us a sweet-ass jingle today, so let me hear you.
Ba-doo-doo-doo. There you go.
Hot diggity dog, that's the theme song. Okay, joining me today, obviously Zane, and I'm Steven, but we also have the legendary, heroic, studious Kit Martin. Yes, she is not related to Steve Martin, even though we are all sad to hear that, but you know, she's still cool. She's still cool.
Thank you.
Okay, Zane.
Yeah.
We had three films that we all decided.
Yeah.
Your film was what again?
Clerks2.
Clerks2, okay. Kit's was
Airplane. Exclamation point.
Exclamation point, yeah, that's what added. And mine was the gorilla. Which one do you want to start with today?
Let's start with the gorilla.
The gorilla?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Seeing as only two of us watching it.
Yeah, somebody didn't do their homework.
The one thing the whole podcast is made around.
Yeah. The biggest one. Should we start with the facts about the film or just...
Sure, why not take it away, kid?
Take it away, kid. The fact lady.
The Gorilla
Fact.
was made in 1939 by the Ritz brothers. You can watch it on YouTube, but just know that it was directed by Alan Duane.
Alan Duane. And you said, what year? One more time?
1939.
1939. Would you say this is old enough to be known as a classic?
Indeed.
I mean, I don't know if it's a classic, but I really enjoyed it.
So now, as this is the film that I chose, and the first time I watched it, I didn't know that a film this old could have so many twists, turns, and just fun in it.
Why did you think that? You just think old movies are just boring?
Nah, just because I just haven't watched a quality film in such a long time until, I watched The Gorilla, and all the other ones have just been disappointments.
So did you go see Aquaman?
I have not seen Aquaman yet.
It's okay.
Hot takes here. Oh, what's your favorite scene of the... Oh, before I ask you your favorite scene, I think we should describe the film in a whole, the plot.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's just like there's this killer named the Gorilla.
Yeah. There's a gorilla.
No, we can't say that.
No.
That's later on in the movie.
No, that's the gorilla. The killer is known as the gorilla.
That's what I was saying.
So he's a gorilla.
And that doesn't mean he's a gorilla. He's an actual
No.
gorilla.
I'm not saying he's an animal, the gorilla. I'm just saying he
anyway,
is.
But there's a rich guy, and he gets a note from the gorilla saying he's going to kill him.
Also, his name is Mr. Stevens.
Yeah,
Cool
I don't remember the names, but I still really enjoyed it. But yeah, and then the guy's niece comes over with her fiance.
Oh, you forgot. They just inherited him, the main guy, Mr. Stevens, and his niece. They inherited a bunch of money from her dead father/brother.
Yeah. So basically, they're there, and then Mr. Stevens invites some private detectives.
Yes, private detectives, played by the Ritz brothers.
And there's also a maid and a butler.
The butler, who's played also, he's also what's his name? He
Bela
played Dracula.
Lugosi.
Bela Lugosi.
Bela Lugosi.
Fucking cool guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool
He's
guy.
a great guy.
Very cool.
I'm surprised he didn't
Kind
know
of
who he
scary
was
looking,
before.
but cool guy.
Well, I mean, he's not creepy. Not in this movie.
I mean, he kind of looks creepy. Like every scene, everyone's like, "I don't like your looks."
All right.
Take note of that.
All right. Okay, but yeah, that's the setup. And then from then, more characters become involved, and then just like chaos ensues and all that kind of stuff. And
This whole film, right? As we said, it's called The Gorilla because there's a murderer called the Gorilla. This movie has so much chaos without spoiling everything. But beginning, get a death threat. He doesn't call the cops because he's a smart guy. He calls private detectives.
well, the thing I didn't get was like, I guess now that I think about it, when he did get the death threat, he probably was really rushed in picking a private detective agency to get people to come.
Well, he only had 24 hours from when he got the note
so
till his
I
death.
understand why he chose the Ritz brothers.
This is how you know that these are good detectives. Okay, let me picture this scene. This is my favorite scene of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Best one. Okay. Zane's seen it, but Kit hasn't, so I have to explain this to you, the audience, and Kit. There's this... You know, it's 1939. You know the convertibles that don't have the tops that cover the the car. So it's a rainy,
convertible?
stormy night. No, but like a convertible, can convert. So it's just a
Yeah,
top.
that's why it's called convertible.
Yeah, but this one can't convert because it doesn't have a top.
Okay.
So would it still be a convertible, or is it just a car?
Yes, it just doesn't have the top.
Yeah, but it can convert. But okay, whatever. That's not the point. Anyway, the point is there's no fucking roof. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the point. So you see this car with no roof drive up stormy night, rainy, terrible mess, thunder, lightning, crazy. They're driving up, and you see this umbrella being held with 2 eye holes cut out so they can see.
Which also, I like to point out, they're very shoddy eye holes. They're very, very crooked. I don't see how they saw out of that.
Yeah, but it was rainy, so they had to do something because they didn't have a top for the car.
Mm-hmm.
So they pull up. Not only do they hit a car that's in front of them in the parking area, but then it's still rainy. You're just like, oh wow. Does a quick zoom in on the agent detectives. Agent. Fuck. Oh god. Agent.
Use your words.
I can't speak right now. The scene just gets me every time.
Okay.
Detective agency. Jeez, I kept getting them backwards. I wanted to say, yeah, I don't even know. But they pull up, and you have this umbrella with 2 eye holes cut out. And this is before you know who's in the film. And the umbrella goes up, and there's not one person under the umbrella, kid. There's not 2 people under the umbrella. You know how many people are under the umbrella?
Many.
Not 4, but 3. Okay? It was wild.
Oh, that was good. That was good right there.
Fantastic.
I did really enjoy that part, but I would have enjoyed it more if you didn't tell me beforehand.
Yeah, I know. It's a spoiler, but it's so good.
It is good. Well, the one thing I did like about that scene was like the continuity of it, because later on Bella goes to move the fiance's car, and he comes back and he's like, "What were you doing?" It's like, "I was trying to move your car, but it won't start for some reason."
Oh no, that film is like crazy good with continuity. Like it's not like some films now when like somebody casually dies, but in the next scene they're like, "Oh, I got stabbed." Didn't happen.
Okay, I don't know any examples that are that extreme. So,
But you know what I'm saying.
I guess, yeah, sure.
You know. No, like different shirt colors. They're all in the same shirt color because it's all black and white. There's no changes whatsoever. What was your favorite scene though? I would ask Kip, but she didn't watch the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd have to be the scene where, excuse me, the leader of the detective agency tells one of the guys to sit in the chair in Mr. Stevens' desk in his room because he disappeared. The lights turned off, and then they came back on. Mr. Stevens was gone, and he was sitting at his desk. So he has one of the other detectives sit in the chair. He flicks off the light, turns it back on. He's gone. Has the other guy sitting there, flips it on. He's gone. So now his 2 other detectives are missing. And then so he gets the maid to sit in the chair. And then he turns off the light. And then the butler's the one that turns on the light, and he's gone, and the maid's still in the chair. And I was like, how is that fucking possible? It was great. I don't know. I laughed super hard at that part.
He just flips it up. He's like, when they first sit, they go, let's reenact the crime. Every single time that's what he says. He's just like, boys, we gotta reenact the crime. You sit there. He goes, sit where Mr. Stevens is. He goes, but I'm not Mr. Stevens. What's his face? And he goes, just sit down.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I like it because I haven't watched many older films, but I mean, obviously, most people know the Three Stooges, and the Rich Brothers are like the Three Stooges, and I'm sure there are other like comedy
best
tropes like that.
slapstick artists there are the Three Stooges and the Rich Brothers.
I don't know.
And the trio.
I like the Marx Brothers. That's the only other ones I know.
Okay, well, there's 3 trios of 3. You know what they say, threes.
Actually, there's more than 3. There's like 4 or 5 Marx Brothers.
Oh, well, then that's too many. What is this, a circus?
No.
Probably.
Well, do you know anything about the Marx Brothers?
No.
Oh, well, do you know...
I'm sure I'll watch something.
Do you know the band Queen?
Oh, you mean the band Queen?
Yeah.
Never heard of them.
Do you know their song Bohemian Rhapsody? It comes...
It kind of sounds familiar.
Okay, anyway. Okay, shut up. The album that song comes off of is called A Night at the Opera.
Mhm.
And that's a reference to a Marx Brothers movie called A Night at the Opera.
Oh, nice.
Just a quick little, fun little tidbit for you right there.
Fun little fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about airplanes next, or
What? No, I'm not done talking about the
Clerks
gorilla.
2? Oh, we're gonna keep going. Okay, I didn't know how much.
We talked about 2 scenes in it. We haven't.
Well, you're right. I have not looked at the time. This is the first episode. We make mistakes. So
I don't
don't
think
get too mad.
we've even come close to finalizing our thoughts on the film yet.
You're right. We haven't even talked about how there's a real gorilla in the movie.
Well, I mean, well, we also have to I guess we don't have to talk about the entire plot
Yeah,
of
we
it
don't
and
want to
explain it.
spoil anything.
Yeah, we just gotta talk about our overall thoughts and feelings.
Well, my
because I
overall-
know that can't all be what you like.
My overall
Or,
thoughts and feelings of this movie, like I said earlier,
Mhm.
in the last 4 or 5 years of my life, that's the
Really?
best movie I've seen
That's
in
a
a
bold
long
claim.
time. It is a bold claim. Avengers, fantastic, but the gorilla walked in. I expected Avengers to be fantastic, but when I
I'm assuming
put
the first
in-
one,
No. I'm talking about like the most recent one.
Infinity War.
Yeah. But when I put the gorilla, this crisp DVD into my PlayStation to watch it for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I had no expectations. So I was like, oh, it's black and white. I'll just probably have some background music.
Yeah, just some white noise.
Not noise, some white noise, and then playing on my phone. And then all of a sudden, I heard a car crash. And I looked up, and 3 guys were under one umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't look away. So good. It's the only movie that I've watched more than one time in the past 5 years without wanting to blow my brains out. So,
Well, one thing I really appreciated about the movie, which I feel is not as common today, is it wasn't a very long movie.
No, it was only about
I was-
an hour. I think it was just about an hour, maybe an hour and 6 minutes.
Exactly. When it ended, I was actually a little surprised, but it didn't not in a bad way, because it told its story. It got everything was done, and then the end happened, and then it was just like boom, wrap it up. And I like that because I feel like a lot of major films today and stuff like that have to. They don't have to be, but they're like 2.5 hours long, sometimes 3.
Oh yeah, no, it was pretty funny because when we watched it together, right? So like I said, only movie I've watched more than one time this year.
Yeah, well, and I guess the length of it aids to that because since it's shorter, it's you can, if you don't have much time, you can just watch it and stuff. More
But then
playable.
you watched it and you were just immediately confused, just like, what? That was it? No way! I want more.
Yeah.
It leaves you wanting more, which is just another testament of why it's a good film.
Yeah, well, and I think it's cool because, yeah, you want more, but you can just go back and watch it again, and since it's like a whodunit, there is more to go back to. If you watch it, a second or a third time, you'll notice things you didn't miss the first time.
Oh, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
There's one scene, as kind of filmmaker like of us. There's one scene when we were talking about how the light flickers.
Mm-hmm.
The very first time that happens, one of the closet doors opens, and you can actually see light come out of it.
I didn't notice it.
But if you that's one of the things you're so focused on just oh shit, it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
That when the second time you're watching, you're like, oh, I know what happens. He disappears. You just see a door open. The actor casually leaves and goes through the doorway, and you're like, huh, what happened?
Yeah. But I mean, it was 39, so.
So, if we're gonna rate this, even though Kit can't really balance it out because she didn't watch it.
Hold on, wait. How about this, right? Let's not have a fixed rating system however many 5 stars or 10.
We're not gonna do that. We're gonna try to make it, since we're known as the triple Fs, Flims.
Okay.
If it gets 3 Fs.
No. You haven't even heard my proposal.
Oh, okay. We'll hear yours, and then
I'm always.
we'll finish mine.
Okay, I've always been in favor of having a rating system, not really a rating system, where you just you describe the movie in terms of an activity you like to do or you don't like to do.
Okay. So
this.
Give me an example.
Watching this movie to me is eating a really nice bowl of cereal. Because I can always eat a nice bowl of cereal.
You could always eat a nice bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
That is a good way. I'm not.
There's limitless possibilities you
there
can
is
talk about a movie.
There is a
evaluate
limited.
it.
even though I already owned the movie and I didn't pay for it, I would actually go and pay to see this movie.
Oh, I would if they
Which is crazy. Like, when like the AMC or Carmike, when they do like the flashback movies, if they were to put that up in one of those,
go watch this.
I would definitely, and I wouldn't even go on the cheap Tuesday
matinee.
The matinee, yeah, I wouldn't go on that. I would actually go like on a Friday night. Because that's how good the movie was.
I'd love to try and get a bunch of our friends to go see it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And if you want to be a detective, if you could actually solve this film with the amount of stuff that happens, you'll be a good detective.
But The Gorilla, great whodunit, great comedy. Go watch it.
Aged very well.
Yes,
I would say very well.
The quality of the film and the sound and all that was good. So preserved well.
Let's get Kit's opinion. Will she actually watch it when she has some free time?
I don't know.
If I have free time.
If she has free time.
To be continued.
All right, but Steven, what's your feeling on the movie?
My feeling, like I was saying, it's the best film that I've watched in a very long time. I love The Gorilla. Man, it's just so good. I'm glad that you watched it and I got to see your immediate reaction. A lot of people don't give it a time of day because it's black and white and it was 1939, but it's still so good. So good.
Well, I was also very excited when we were done watching Clerks 2.
Oh,
because
baby.
I was so happy that you loved it because it's one of my favorite comedies.
Okay, so Clerks 2, obviously in the name, it is a sequel. But before we start talking about it more in depth, Kit's gonna hit you with the facts.
Alright, the sequel is Clerks 2. It was made in 2006. You can watch it on YouTube, but you have to pay for it. It has Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson, and Jay and Silent Bob, and is directed by Kevin Smith.
Thank you, Kit.
Thank you. Also, Clerks 1 you can stream on Netflix, but not the second one. And I will say, this might be a hot take, but this is one of the only movies I've seen that the sequel is, in my opinion, better than the first.
Ooh, see, that's a bold claim because most Clerks fans, they like Clerks 2, but everyone usually prefers the first one by a large margin.
Well, I just found some of the jokes funnier and more out there in Clerks 2. Some of them are not show friendly, even though we don't know what is show friendly right now. First episode. Yeah, there's some hot takes, some funny things. One of the things that we'll talk about is one scene in particular that I honestly had.
Wait. Let me talk about the premise.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying, we're gonna get back to this scene, which made the movie. This scene made the movie to me because I was watching it with Zane, right? And I had no idea, and I felt exactly like this character for like the first little part. I know how that sounds like if you've seen the movie, it's gonna come off really bad what I just said. But like the very first part, I just didn't know. I didn't know. But we'll get back to that. Zane's gonna hit you with the premise of the movie, and he's gonna. You want to recap number 1 for them, real quick too?
Yeah. So Clerks 1, basically, it's a day in the life of Dante and what's his first name?
Randy or Randall?
Randall. Yeah, I think it's Randall.
Randall.
Is it?
Yeah. Kit, hit us with the facts.
Hitting you with the facts.
We're gonna get
indeed Randall.
Yes, we are gonna make that a jingle.
It's a day in the life of Dante and Randall. Dante works at a quick store, and then Randall works at a VHS store. Ooh.
Yeah, they're connected, right? Connected.
Yeah, and they're connected, and it's just a day when they're just working. It just goes throughout all the shenanigans and mishaps that happen. And Clerks 2 is similar, except that it's set like 10 years later, so they're both in like their mid-30s by now. They're getting older, and quick stop and the VHS store burned down because Randall let the coffee pot on again. And now they're working at Movies, which is a fast food restaurant. And also another, I got a fun fact for you.
What's the fun fact?
So in the View Askew universe, which is the series of movies that Kevin Smith has made and directed and all that.
All great.
He made one called Dogma, which is another great film, about 2 fallen angels. and they're played by not Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck, and then Jay and Silent Bob.
Wait.
Yeah.
The Bros play the Angels.
Oh yeah,
the best
it's great.
of friends. Matt Damon.
But
and Ben.
there's a lot of stuff in the movie. But anyway, in Dogma, at one point, the two fallen angels go to this big business building where these headquarters for movies, which is a giant fast food chain, and they kill a bunch of people because they're these executives. And then it's just a funny connection to this. But anyway, back to Clerks 2. And then
Clerks 2.
similar to the first one, it's just it's Dante's last day on the job because he's engaged to this woman that I don't remember the name of, but they're going to move down to Florida, and her dad is going to give him a car wash.
You know
so
what? You know, come to think of it, I also don't know what her name is.
It's not important.
Like, I would agree. Maybe it's like Princess or
Princess.
Baby. I think he calls her Baby one time.
I don't know. But anyway, similar shenanigans, well, maybe more extreme shenanigans ensue throughout the day. So Stephen.
Some of these scenes I love so much. Now, some of these scenes, they need visual representation. I was at work and I was talking about this movie right with my coworker.
Okay.
And I talked about, the scene. Okay, so Randall is a big Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
And who's the guy that they work with? He's a young
Elias.
guy. Elias.
Oh yeah, and also they have two other coworkers, Elias, which is like this 19-year-old geek, and then Rosario Dawson, which plays their lovely manager.
Oh, she's so good looking.
Yeah.
Fine. Anyway, I was describing the scene where, what's his name again? I already forgot.
Elias.
Great name. How, every time he sees a ring, he's like, one ring to rule them all. And then, like, this other, guy that's getting some hamburgers, he's like, I don't know, how do you finish the phrase? What's the thing that goes after one ring to rule them all, do you know?
One ring to, I don't know, something.
To wield them all.
I'm not really
and then they do, like, a little nerd spit, and then Randall comes out, and he goes, Lord of the Rings is dumb.
He says there's only one return, and it's of the Jedi.
Yes.
And then that starts a whole thing between him and the customer.
The best thing though is Randall. He goes, "I will do a visual representation of all the Lord of the Rings movies."
That's also a great scene.
He just walks 3 steps for the first one. He walks back, obviously. He goes, "You ready for number 2?" He walks like 2 steps, takes a step to the side, takes 2 more steps forward. He goes, "That's movie number 2." Then he walks right back. And he goes, and here's the last one. He walks all the way up. And then he throws an imaginary ring in I guess what would be the volcano.
And then he shrugs his shoulders and then goes back.
And then he goes. And as my coworker, who's a Lord of the Rings fan, was very hurt because she was like, "That's so accurate, and it hurts me so much."
Well, but then also the comment about Sam burking in Frodo's mouth is also pretty great. It's great.
Yes, but just
it's such a great burn. It makes the Lord of the Rings fan puke. So this movie is full of scenes like that.
This film, as we talked about the gorilla first, and we can all say that the gorilla is a very family friendly, good any age,
wholesome.
For any age, wholesome, pretty wholesome. It might be a little scary when the gorilla comes out. He's pretty scary. It kind of looks just like a gorilla suit, and so the graphics aren't.
He looks like a gorilla suit.
No, I said when the gorilla comes out, it looks just like a gorilla suit. Like if somebody was in a suit.
Well, yeah, because it is a guy in a gorilla suit.
I know, but I'm saying like that's maybe not as scary.
That is not
as someone
scary.
as someone that's just like a real gorilla, okay. But. So that movie's fine. But this movie, I would say if you're not a certain age, don't watch it.
Well, I mean...
Also, if you're sensitive, don't watch it. We didn't add the sensitivity clause, kid. We forgot. You should make a really good one. Because we don't want anybody's feelings hurt because, feelings are important.
Yeah. Feelings are important.
But also, I would say, I guess don't let your kids watch this unless you know, your parent,
You watched it
and
first.
you want them to.
Your
for some
discretion
reason.
is advised.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Like I watched all kinds of.
Yeah, but
You know, shit when I
like,
was
but
little.
when we were kids, we could literally watch anything, and you know, look how we turned out. Great, obviously, we have a sweet show now.
Oh, yeah. Very productive members of society,
Hey,
right?
very, very productive. We're paying tuition, and we're getting a degree that we're supposed to get, and then you know we go into this real world. Even though I know me and Kit both work jobs all the time, saying he
I don't
works
have a
lot
job,
at
but I
high school.
run. I run a
Yeah, he
lot.
runs, which is a job. I don't care what anybody says. Being an athlete, if you're on scholarship, that is like a job. Hot take.
Yeah. But
Yeah, but viewer discretion advised.
Yeah, but as the movie progresses, like I said at the beginning, more and more shenanigans happen, and it's actually what was I gonna say? I really like the movie because I kind of relate to it a lot. Because at the end, there's like themes of growing up and what it actually means to like be happy and like other people's not letting other people's perceptions of what you should do with your life or what should make you happy interfere with what you actually want. Do what you want to do.
Oh yeah, no, the theme of it is really good, and don't listen to anybody. Make yourself happy. That's the important thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also don't let other people make decisions for you.
Yes, that too. That's also important.
Mm-hmm. Well, but also that's good. But this movie makes me honestly more sad than any other movie.
Which is crazy because it is a comedy and the jokes in it are hilarious.
Well, it just makes me sad because
He has no clue what he's gonna do with
exactly. I can relate to it because I'm only 21, but I'm so scared after I graduate because I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
I'll tell you.
Because like I said earlier, I'm getting a mass comms degree.
You know what you're gonna do? This podcast is gonna go through the waves. We're gonna get paid, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna watch movies, be bums, and just get paid to talk.
Hey man, you never know.
You're right. You never know about anything. But on a less serious and depressing note about us not knowing what we're gonna do with our lives, other than have a great time doing like podcasts and stuff, why don't we talk about our favorite scenes of the movie? Huh?
Okay, well, I mean, we already talked about one of them.
Should I go back and talk about when I thought I was Randall for a second?
No,
but like, we have to be very careful how we describe the scene.
Let me help you describe that. But first, let me talk about my favorite.
Okay,
scene.
we'll come back to this for the third time.
Okay,
After Zane's favorite scene, we would ask Kit, like I said, just like the gorilla, but someone did not do their homework. The very last movie we're talking about, airplanes. The Kid has seen, so don't worry, you'll hear more. You're right, not airplanes, airplane, exclamation point.
So, I pretty much love the whole movie, and I could pick out any scene I could at any time, at any day, and say like this one's my favorite, and the next day be another scene. But this time when I watched it, the scene that stuck out to me that I really enjoyed was when after what's the guy from My Name Is Earl? What's his name?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
After his character shows up and he has a whole interaction with Randall and Dante. Randall's really.
Do you want to explain the scene?
No, I'm not let people watch it for themselves.
Okay.
Ethan Suplee?
Yeah. But,
Ethan Suplee. Good name.
Whatever. So his character says things to Randall and Dante, and it really upsets Randall. And usually Randall's the kind of guy where he doesn't care about anything. He's just here to just do whatever, have fun. And what he says actually gets to him, and then so he drags Dante and himself out of work right in the middle when it's starting to get really busy, and they go to a go-kart track and they just have a nice go-kart like race or whatever, and it's just like very calming and peaceful. And then afterwards, Randall and Dante are talking in the car, and then they have like a good moment with each other or whatever, and you learn more about Randall's like actual character. But anyway, they get back.
You get us all in the feels, man.
Yeah, I know. But it is mostly comedy. But anyway,
it is mostly comedy, despite what Zane has been spewing.
After Randall and Dante get back from the go-kart track, Rosario Dawson's character and Elias are really busy because they left their posts, and then they have a bunch of people to serve, and this leads into Steven's favorite scene that he's about to talk about.
This is not my favorite scene.
Okay.
This is the most relatable scene.
Yeah.
Like, so Zane's most relatable scene is like, not, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically when they do the undertone of like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life and how you shouldn't think of anything. This was the most relatable scene to me because I, honest to God, did not know that the thing that Randall
how raunchy
says
you would get.
yeah, you. I knew it was gonna get raunchy, but I didn't know like what type of boundaries they were gonna push. Now this is 2006, so you know boundaries could be pushed any way, shape, or form. Not like what are we in 2019?
Yeah.
How there's like a very tight wall and perimeter, and you can't say anything because sensitivity. That's why we're having the sensitivity clause.
Sensitivity.
But. Good thing Zane was watching this with me because it made this scene twice as funny, but also it was twice as funny to me afterwards because I, like I said, honest to God, did not know this term. Also, I'm not from the South. That's probably why I didn't know this term.
Are you going to say it or what?
Zane, I don't feel like we should say it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But I can give you...
Okay, let me help set the scene. So they get back to the restaurant and
No. Let me say.
Okay.
The abbreviation for this two-word
You don't even have to do that. Okay. Anyway. Basically, Randall says a racial epithet towards someone.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize that it's actually a
very
racial slur. Very racist word. Because his grandmother called him this when he was a child.
Two words. They're also from Jersey. This takes place in New Jersey,
to him,
so that's important.
It was a term of endearment, as he says in the movie, and he didn't know any better. But even after Dante explains to him that it's not okay to say that.
Wait, before this,
Yeah?
he goes, they argue about that it's a racial slur, right? So, like, Dante's like, dude, that's a racial term. And he goes, no, my grandma called me it all the time as a term of endearment. And he's like, no, that's a racist term. You can't say that.
He's like,
also,
no,
while this is all going on, there's a very nice couple that are there hearing all this and losing their mind. Now, the husband's very chill. He just wants his food. They were going to get more food. And the wife was not having it, which makes sense. It was a very racist slur. You shouldn't say it. But while Dante's like saying that this is a racial slur and they're arguing, Randall goes on to list about like four racial terms, which these racial terms I actually knew, and I was like,
also,
okay, that makes sense.
They're racial terms against black people, just for context. So
for context, yes, and which he goes through, he says this, and now this couple is still there. And he says all of these terms. He goes, now those are racial terms. But this term, he says the first racial term again, that's not a racial term. And then, as in, what did Dante say next, Zane? What did he say to Randall? And I'll say what Randall says at the end.
Oh, I don't remember.
No, when he's like, when he says why. Randall goes to say how he's going to bring this term back.
Oh, yeah, he's going to bring it back. He's going to bring it back into style.
He's going to bring it back into style as like, maybe a term of endearment. Now, Zane, what did Dante say to Randall when he said that he was going to bring it back? Like, why couldn't he do it?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, well, Dante looks at him. He goes, "You can't do that." And Randall looks at him. He goes, "Why can't I do that? Why can't I bring back this term and make it a form of endearment?" Randall looks at it. Dante looks at Randall, no joke, and he goes, "You can't do that because you're white." And then Randall. Quick.
Wait, does he say
super
that?
witty? Yeah, he basically says you can't do it because if you're
Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
Yes, I remember that. I remember.
And then Randall looks at him and he goes, so you mean to tell me that I can't do something because the color of my skin? Look who's the racist now.
And Steven lost his shit.
And I died because that's so funny to me.
Because that's
But it's real though. Like I did not know that the term that Randall was saying was a racial term until Zane explained it to me. And this is how Zane explained it to me. He was like, "Nah, this is how." I asked Zane when the first time he heard it, and he, no joke, he looked at me and he goes, "Steven, as someone that's lived in Alabama my whole life and almost on a farm basically, my grandparents say multiple things." and they're rough. And I was
Okay.
like, that makes sense.
Okay, but I
Terrible.
didn't hear
Terrible.
that from him. Just to clear it.
But my favorite scene, other than the I like the
I love
Lord
my
of the Rings.
grandparents.
Zane's grandma is one of the nicest ladies I've ever met.
Oh, those are my. I'm talking about my other grandmas, not
other
the ones
grandparents.
you know.
Okay, well the ones I know, they're great, and probably not the ones saying racial
You know,
slurs.
that hopefully they probably won't listen to this, but you know.
Good old Alabama, you know, not good, but kind of old. And
Hey, let's
terrible.
move on.
Okay. Anyway, my favorite scene, which is a reference to the first Clerks one. There's a scene in Clerks 1 where Silent Bob and what's his name, Jay and Silent Bob. Jay posts like a comic talkie bubble on the gas station door, and it says, "I eat cocks," which is a hilarious joke and funny. And then they knock on the door, and Randall opens the door, and he just stands there and doesn't say anything. Funny, simple joke. But then in Clerks 2, he does the same thing, but what's his name? Elias. Why don't I want to say Elijah?
Did you think about Elijah
Probably
Wood?
because maybe Elijah Wood, or I work with Elijah.
Okay.
Anyway, they put the same sign on his Employee of the Month plaque, and then right as he sees it, he takes it off, and then Randall just puts a penis going into his mouth right back. Good old
No,
2000s.
it wasn't. It wasn't. Just to clarify, it wasn't a penis going into his mouth. It was a penis shooting spunk all over his face.
Funny scene, but like we said, this is a viewers advice podcast and show.
Also, the
we'll have to at the end of this we'll have to record something where we put viewer discretion advice. We'll bleep out the swear words like fuck and stuff, but way off time. Way off time. But we can't. When it happens in the movies, we have to be able to describe the movie. We'll not back down from that.
also,
Flim Flam Films is all about.
yeah.
The facts.
And also, just one more note.
The films.
One more note on Clerks 2.
and the fans.
The climax of the movie, well, not necessarily the climax, the last big event that happens in the movie is
now, I know
great. We're not going to spoil it.
No, I like the word you said there, climax.
Yeah, that's your hint. There you go.
It's a very,
Stick around
if
for
you
it.
do watch now we do encourage you to watch all the films. Now, I would say Clerks 2, you should watch Clerks 1. It makes way more sense, and it is better for Clerks for watching if you watch Clerks 1. But all these films, you should watch. And climax is a very good word to describe the climax of this movie.
Alright, so how would you describe watching Clerks 2 and your enjoyment of it?
My enjoyment of Clerks 2. That's a good question. I'm going to pass the mic back to you and let you describe it while I think of this.
For me, Clerks 2 is like when I take a Sunday drive around my hometown, and I feel like nostalgia because I miss the town, but I also at the same time I'm sad because I don't want to be here because it would suck to be here.
I think that's a perfect way to describe it. When you're visiting family and what you don't want to be is your hometown. But so imagine, say you moved a lot, but that place that you went to high school. Imagine walking into your high school and seeing someone that you know, and then also seeing that there's a bunch of new faces and just hating yourself. Why'd you even go to your high school?
What?
Why'd you go back? Go and visit. Waste of time.
I don't know why I'd go. I mean, my high school's literally falling apart, so
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, my high school.
So sorry.
I didn't hate my high school, but
No, you're not
I think that's I think Zane, that was a good way to describe it. You just go into your hometown and you're yeah, the nostalgia of it is cool, and you spend the one day with your family and you have a great time, maybe a weekend,
but you
and
can't
catch
be
up
there
with your
long.
best friends, but day 3, day 4, you're get me the hell out of here.
Because there's just a big sense of stagnation.
Yes, good word.
All right, so our third and last film for today
Third and
was
last one.
I think this one's see now I wouldn't consider the Gorilla classic. It's extremely great, but it's not very well known. But I would consider Airplane a classic.
Airplane, I would agree. Gorilla is an underrated classic. Like, once you see this movie, you will be like, this should be a classic. Especially since the disc that I watched it on was a classic PAX collection, so, obviously it's known as a classic. But Airplane is definitely a classic. Sorry, Airplane, exclamation point. You gotta have that in there, or it's not the right
Airplane.
title. Exclamation point.
Keep going.
Great film. I think I was the only one that hadn't watched it before we picked, which is surprisingly, because I like to watch more of the older films than both of you. And maybe I had seen it, but it was great. This is the only one Kip watched. So, guys, I know the audience is... Maybe they've heard your voice. I don't know how good these mics are. Because like I said, first take, round uno. No scrubs. You're finally going to hear her talk. Not including hearing her going, the facts, she'll actually take the rope for this one. We'll pass it down to Kid.
And while she does, I'm going to go to the bathroom quick, so have that again.
Hey,
right.
real
Thank you,
quick.
Zane.
Thank you, Zane.
Alright, so this is Airplane, exclamation point. It was made in 1980, directed by Jerry Zucker, David Zucker, and Jim Abrams. You can watch it on YouTube. Of course, you had to pay for it. And it has certain actors like Robert Hayes, Julie Haggerty, Lloyd Bridges, and of course, Leslie Nielsen, who is just amazing. This guy is such an amazing actor. I love him in all sorts of movies. Naked Gun, of course, but Airplane, definitely one of my favorites with him in it. So, it's your first time watching the movie. What'd you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. We'll pick all of our favorites when Zane gets back. If we had to pick which one to recommend in order, but I loved it. It was very good. The only problem that I had with this film is it's been all the jokes have been used in culture so much that, like, when I was watching the film, which you still need to do if you haven't seen, like, the original thing, I would highly recommend it. It's like, he's like, no kidding, Shirley. He goes, my name's not, well, what's the official joke?
Okay. Do you know how to fly this plane? And he goes, Shirley, you can't be serious. And he goes, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Yes, like that. This is where it's from. And even though I've heard that joke 1,000 times,
now you know where it came
since
from.
I watched it during the film, I still gave it a chuckle. I was like, haha. And then my face went back to regular. But because I've heard, like, we've all heard that joke. Yes, I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley, like, 1,000,000 times. But when you finally, like, oh yeah, this is where it's from, great. Also, I know, like, since this is almost like a parody movie, in a way, well, I'm pretty sure it is a parody movie, the acting in it is, like, almost purposely bad, to, like, the point where, after I watched The Gorilla and stuff, and I was like, 1939, acting? Super duper good. Airplane? Exclamation point. Alright. Not as good, but still really good. Because they were acting to be bad. And that, in a way, is hard. But I love the film. Zane?
Oh, how far do you guys got it?
We got to... Just our quick thought of if we like the film, without spoiling any scenes. I talked about the classic, the Shirley joke. Don't call me Shirley, but I like that. So everybody's heard it, but this is where it's from, and it still made me laugh because I was like, huh.
My personal favorite joke from it is, I might be misquoting it, but you ever been in the cockpit of a plane before? No, sir, I've never flown before. You ever seen a grown man naked? That's great.
That is
many great one-liners. Very quotable movie.
Very quotable movie.
Kit, how about you give us the quick summary of this movie, the quick rundown?
Okay, so this, I believe his name was Ted. So the lead guy, Ted, loves this woman, Eileen, and so he follows her on a plane hoping to get back with her, but she doesn't want to get back with him. While the plane is in the air, everybody eats dinner, and they develop food poisoning, and so no one can fly the plane.
From what?
From, was it fish?
It was the fish.
It was
the fish.
It was the fish.
You know what they say? Never trust a fish.
Never try. So of course Havoc is wrecking loose in this airplane, and no one can fly the plane because the pilot has also eaten the fish. So
Not just the pilot.
not just the pilot.
The co-pilot and the guy that does the radio.
Yeah, the navigator.
The navigator. Thank you. Now, also, I'm gonna steal Zane's thunder with this fun fact. The co-pilot is played by
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Son of a gun. He played for the LA Lakers. But the funniest thing about that is the whole time when, as Zane was saying, his favorite favorite joke is when the kid's in the cockpit. He goes, "Oh, dude, you're the basketball player," and he keeps looking at the kid. He goes, "No, I'm not." He goes, "Well, my dad says that you can't play defense," and he grabs the little kid by the shirt and pulls him closer. He goes, "Listen here, kid. You tell your dad," and then throws him back. And then after they start dragging everyone and they're poisoned, and they pick him out and pull him out of the cockpit, you just see his lower half. He's I don't know how tall he is. Tall, at least 6'7". He's in his Lakers uniform, bottom half. He's in the shorts and the sneaks. Kills me.
Also, well, I'm gonna come in with my fun fact. So, I think we go without saying that we all love Leslie Nielsen. He's a great actor.
Great guy.
And
Never seen him when he's young though. I think he's had white hair since he was 20. But hot take.
He's like Steve Martin in that way.
Yeah. Not bad. Not a bad thing.
No.
But it's funny because when I was telling you guys earlier about that, this is actually kind of like a remake of a movie from the
Yeah, it's a
50s about an
parody,
airplane,
yeah.
and it's just pretty much the same plot or whatever. They just made it funny. Well, Leslie Nielsen also earlier in his acting career, he only did super serious roles. And I don't remember if this is actually story or whatever, but when he tried out for this, that worked to his advantage because that's why he's known for his dry wit. He's very deadpan,
Yeah.
and he acted seriously, and then they loved it. And if you ever go back and watch some of his older movies, he acts the same way he does in his comedies, except it's just an actual serious movie. He's trying to be serious, and it's great.
Which, what I said earlier, the acting, even though in the gorilla you can distinctly say it's better, but the acting, they're acting they're on purposely acting bad. Which is good acting in a way,
Yeah,
but it's an annoying bad. Because when I watched this movie, I
it's
was
not
watching
annoying
it
bad.
with somebody that was they're a theater major, and they just kept complaining about the acting in it. They were just she is so bad. Her breath stops in between each word, just like that. Were so annoying. But I thought it was great.
Well, yeah, that's the point of it.
I know it's the point, but I think that's why it's so funny. But then you saying that that's just him all the time. That's how he acts serious and funny. Is just twice as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then Ted, they try to convince him to fly the plane, and he's like, I've never flown something this big. or what did he say?
It's, I don't know, it's been so long, but it's something like that. It's I've never flown anything this big before.
And then there's something else, and then Leslie Nielsen and then the girl repeat it back to him in or this weird robotic way. And they're okay. But yeah, he has to. Oh, also there's not the side plot, but the other thing happening with the guys at the airport at the radio trying to help them out or whatever.
Yeah, I love that guy, the radio tower guy, because he's looks like it was a bad day for me to quit drinking.
Looks like
they
it
start
Bad day for me
drinking.
to stop sniffing glue.
That's the best one. No, but the best guy in there is the guy that's
The bald guy that's making
the bald guy
jokes with every radio.
who's literally even though this whole movie is a comedy, he is the comic relief in a comedy movie,
yeah.
which goes to show how great this film is.
and-
that a comedy movie needs a comic relief.
And at first that might, if you're listening to this, that might kind of seem like overkill. It's not. It's done really well.
It's
Perfectly
so
fits with it.
Especially when the main guy goes in there with the newspaper and he's like, "What do you make of this?" He's like, "I can make a boat or a brooch
or a hat.
or a hat."
And then like they're like so like how as we were saying like the radio, and they're like talking to the guy trying to do the plane like land it. The one comic relief, he straight up just unplugs a random cord, and then everything just stops, and it goes to him. He goes, "I'm just kidding," and he plugs it back in, and then the movie resumes. And that's just so funny. He's just like, "Oh, let me just plug it right back in. I'm just playing with the guys."
I remember another one was like, "Gee, shouldn't we turn on the lights so they can see the runway?" That's just what they're expecting.
Or like, maybe if our listeners are younger, you ever see the Key and Peele skit where the girl's going through her boyfriend's porn history, and he just keeps sweating more and more and more? I could be wrong, but this movie might be where that joke originated.
Oh, they're playing because the over sweat joke.
Yeah, the over
just dump like, water over.
He's just going, and it's just sweat on sweat, just going out. Now, there's a lot of great movies. Great scenes in this movie. If I can speak, we've only been going on for about 15 minutes.
Woo!
What is everybody's favorite scene of this movie? Who wants to start? We'll let Kit start. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you guys find it that funny. I think it's a classic thing. The woman who's freaking out and everyone grabbing her and saying, "Calm yourself, come in," and slapping her. And there's this long line of people with like a bat, a fish, a handbag just to hit this woman with, and just different kinds of weapons to smack her.
Somebody has a gun in the
Someone
line.
has a gun in the back. It's great.
What about you, Zane? What is your favorite?
Well, this one is kind of similar to Clerks 2, well, also dissimilar, where, like, I love the whole movie, but, like I said with Clerks 2, if it's every day I have a different favorite scene. With Airplane, I can never, even though I said one, I had my favorite scene, joke earlier, I love everything equally, like, to an absurd degree. And also, I just want to say to our listeners out there that, you know, like, if it sounds like, you know, we're not talking that much about the movie because it seems like we're just quoting it over and over again with different things.
That's a good thing.
And,
that means the movie was good.
But, you know, I mean, it might be ruining it for some people, but, you know, I like to think that it gets funnier with each watch, so, you know.
No, it's the same thing with our sweet title, Flim Flam Films.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but since I love everything, I'll just list off a few more of my favorite scenes that we haven't talked about yet.
Pick two. Well, okay, let me go first then.
No,
because then I can do my favorite scene.
No, this is my
Okay. All
right, so
even though the whole
I like a lot of I think I like the visual gags and the slapstick more than the spoken jokes. I always love when anytime Ted is talking about his drinking problem.
No,
and then he grabs the glass and he just tosses it right by his ear and just opens his mouth and goes and just throws the drink behind him.
Poor Autumn.
And then I also love when they go back to the radio tower at the airport. And it just starts out with the fan, and they literally throw, I don't know if it was real or fake shit, but they just throw a shit-like substance at the fan.
They're like, you'll know when the shit has hit the fan, and it's just
because I don't remember, but the last time I remember watching it, I remember it being blue.
No, it was brown. I watched it last night.
I must have watched it like an edited version or something, because when I watched it, it was blue, so blue shit. But yes, there you go.
No. I have probably two. Ted's involved in all of them. When Ted goes and he talks about how he first meets his lovely lady at this very hardcore bar. They're like, only the rough cats and dogs can hang out here. And the first fight that breaks out in the bar is between two Girl Scouts, and nobody else fights, but it has like all the classic bar scene fights. Like they throw them over the counter, hit the juice box, break chairs over one another. It's fantastic. Also because like you can also see when they have like the dummy, and it's just like the sound effects, like when he starts dancing, like the disco dancing, and he throws his jacket at a hat, and it's like, or like if they throw it back at him, and like, but probably because his stories are so boring. My favorite thing is whenever it comes back to Ted talking to who's ever he's sitting
and then the person's trying to kill themselves, and it's so awful.
Trying to kill himself. Like, it's funny because, like, I like dark humor, but it's super funny because like the first person he's talking to, like, is this old lady. The old lady, like, first is like, yeah, it's a real shame that you and her are not together anymore. Like, she has a great figure, intelligent, works all the time, probably cooks well. And he's like, yeah, it is a real shame. I remember when it's like she just opened her book and she puts her glasses off to listen to this story.
She puts them off?
Like she takes them off. Sorry, puts them. I mean, that's still putting something.
Yeah.
Anyway, it comes back to like his story just finished, and then you just see her feet, like she hung herself in the plane, which either means two things. One, very short.
Or a really tall plane.
Or a really tall plane.
Yeah, it's
which could be, it could be the second one, because like we did say, the basketball player, what's his full name?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, was the co-pilot, and he's like 6'7", so I don't think he was like...
I think he was taller than that.
Yeah, he probably was. Kit hit us with the facts when Google was. My computer doesn't do the Google, I don't think.
It doesn't do the Google?
Like, Wi-Fi's not connected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyway, so there's that scene when she, like, hangs herself, and then the second one, the one guy he's talking to, and he starts pouring gasoline over himself, Zane. Do you remember this poor guy? He just starts pouring gasoline from himself, and then they ask him to go to the cockpit, and he has the match lit, and he blows out the match. He's like, didn't have to kill myself, and he drops the match on the floor, and boom, he blows up. Didn't affect the plane, but the guy died. Hilarious.
Okay, so his listed height,
7'8".
7'2".
Oh, 7'2". In other words, for people that can't put numbers to visualize, that's huge.
Yeah. I would also like to say that the reason I said earlier that I don't think the Gorilla is as much as a classic or a classic at all compared to Airplane is because, like, yes, the Gorilla is great, but
sound and color, that's the big thing.
The Airplane is so influential because I can't tell you how many times I've watched any other kind of media, TV show, movie, whatever, that has a joke that references or the Airplane. Especially like the first time I really noticed it was watching Family Guy. I swear that Family Guy has done every single joke that Airplane did.
Oh no, they have. They have. I don't think there's one that they haven't done.
But yeah.
I know they've done all the killing ones, where they just kill themselves with so many stuff. Everybody's done their Shirley one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's had a basketball player on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Cockpits.
Oh! I just remembered another amazing scene. I know we've already talked about a lot of movies. I love this one especially. When Ted's former instructor or whatever is going to the radio tower because he's getting called back, when he's walking just through the airport and all these people come up to try and give them some religious pamphlets or whatever, and he just starts beating the shit
I don't
out
think any
of them.
religion is safe in this movie when that happens. They start putting flowers on him, he punches them, flips them over, kicks them in the face.
What about Buddha?
What about Jesus?
Yes, but
that is a great scene. I would do
and I guess this also kind of like how Clerks 2 are like, feel like a lot of some of the subject matter in Airplane might not be able to do today.
No.
About it.
The only movie that we could remake today would be The Gorilla.
And if they did, it would be some shitty movie with The Rock.
Yeah.
Not to say that I don't like The Rock. I love The Rock, but he's in a lot of not so great comedies.
like Kevin Hart would be the gorilla, I think. He would be the guy in the gorilla suit. I'm just kidding. We could actually make a gorilla, but I just find it would be funny if we kept the guy in the suit, and it would just be a funnier remake than
that's too clever. I wouldn't do that. They just have a bad CG gorilla or something.
But it's a good movie. Zane, now I know you like rating it this way. So, in your everyday life, what would you say is like? Actually, I have one. Let me start. Like we were saying, a lot of the jokes and influences this movie has. You guys all know some classic knock knock jokes, but the classic hey Zane, you got something on your shirt joke, and they look down and you flick them. That's the epitome of this movie in my life. I use it so much. It's always a classic, like, Kit, your shoes untied. That's not a joke. I'm being actually serious. No, like, I'm actually being serious. Your shoe is untied before you leave. Please tie it. Like that. That's what. Those are the jokes I like. That's how I think this film to be.
I just want to say really quickly, Steven loves to make really shitty jokes, and he knows it annoys me. Because they're so bad. Because I feel like you think other people actually like them too. No, I know you know that I don't like them. But they're so bad.
That's part of the reason, Zane, why those ones are funny. Because you hate them, and I love to see people get angry and disappointed. I find that hilarious. So there's, like, without a doubt in my mind, like, somebody's gonna not watch, but listen to this, and they're gonna go, these people are idiots. I was gonna say something else, like retard, but I don't think that's acceptable in this sensitive place. But, like, I could see them be like, yeah, these opinions are trash. My feelings were hurt.
Well,
and that's funny to me because I don't care.
I know, but this movie isn't for those people.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because like we said, if you're very sensitive, you can't watch either of these.
Well, I mean, I would say Airplane to a lesser extent. Because it's...
yeah, that's true. Clerks, okay, if we watch it, if we Friendly Family order Gorillas #1, then Airplane, exclamation
point.
Then,
I'd say even by today's standards, some portions of Airplane are, like, very tame.
Yeah.
Albeit, some of them are very not tame.
No,
but some of them
are not. like the co-pilot. That scene, thus spoiling, is a great scene. And by co-pilot, well, no, not co-pilot. I'm sorry.
Otto.
Excuse me. Otto.
Otto, the pilot.
Thank you. Otto, the pilot. That scene is so funny to me. Oh, he's deflating. Blow him back up. Great scene. Hilarious. Okay, so what would you describe this? You never answered the question.
Well, no, because you were answering. And
I'm sorry. We all got off track.
No, I know. I went.
You didn't like my jokes, even though they're great. But you know, not everybody has good taste.
Anyway, let me think a second. I gotta think.
Okay, and then while you think, let me just ask Kit, how do you want to wrap this show up today? Like, I think we've hit a pretty good time barrier. We're a little over an hour. We're gonna have to re-listen to it some, but
yeah, it's gone very well. If you guys just want to end it on just last words.
Well, after Zane decides, then we can rate all these films in a regular. We'll say 3. We'll do 3 Fs. My original rating thing. We can do this at the end of the show. 3 Fs because there's 3 Fers over here. Take that as you, and by Fers I mean film lovers and fans. Those are the Fs. We can decide if it gets 3 Fs. Everybody should watch it. 2 Fs, still good, and 1 F. You know what that stands for? That and terrible, okay? And no Fs, even worse.
I was about to say, there's a 4th rating there. There's no Fs.
No Fs.
And those are the worst.
Sometimes those can be good, though. But
anyway.
I'm not so sure about this one. I might come back to this and change it later or update it. But I guess I enjoy Airplane, but to me it's not. Well, it is very rewatchable, but I don't have the urge to watch it that much. I guess I would describe Airplane to me like a really funny uncle that sometimes just kind of might take the joke a little bit too far. But he's always great. You love him. You can always go ahead and talk to your uncle. That's great.
I like that one. So, you want to, since we're already on Airplane, exclamation point, do you want to start with that one with our 3 Fs?
I mean,
because I give it a big.
I'm not going to take part in this rating. I already gave my rating. You two can do that.
What?
You guys be about the F ratings.
No, everybody's got to do it.
I already gave what I said what I felt about the movie.
Listen, there's got to be 3 Fs for this rating to work.
Why? Why does that have to work?
Because.
But if you do that, you're just restricting.
No, I'm not restricting any. Okay, I know this isn't Rotten Tomato. This is just 3 film fans. That's a family. Those are the 3 Fs.
All right.
Don't wanna. They're giving these.
Fine then. Every movie gets 3 Fs for me then.
3 Fs for him. 3 Fs for me. What about you, Kit? I know you only watched one of them, but if you were to go off just what me and Zane have been saying for Gorilla and Clerks 2, would you give it an F? Not for failure,
no,
but for
not
fantastic.
Yes.
What are you using, 3 Fs? Or what?
Well, she already just done one. Like, she's given the F to airplane, so exclamation point.
Wait,
for
I thought
these-
we were...
No,
Oh, we're
everyone
doing
does
it-
one. Like, I get an F, you get an F, and she gets an F.
Okay, I thought we were each independently rating them
Yeah, but
on
you
a scale
said-
from 0 to 3 Fs.
No. Everyone, one of us
Oh,
is
we
with
add
the
them
same.
all our... Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, so
So everything's
for-
at least. Well, airplane is definitely at 3 Fs.
definitely an F for airplane for me.
Okay.
So that's 3. Same.
Yep.
F for me.
Everybody. Zane put 3 Fs for everything. I put an F for everything.
All right. For Clerks 2.
Just
Yeah.
based off what
Yeah, no, we gave all of them Fs. We're
Oh.
seeing if you would give
based off what we've
Gorilla
said and you know.
and Clerks 2, if you were in the audience, which you kind of were today because you didn't watch them, would you watch these films?
I would.
You would? Both of them? So do they both get, I guess, kind of, they get
a
Fs.
hypothetical F.
Hypothetical.
Yeah, they get
Hypothetical. Awesome. Well, next time, watch the films. And
School comes first.
This is school.
This is school.
This one's not as important.
This is super important. If we're not dedicated
I'm sorry,
to
I
the
don't know
only
why
thing
I
that
said
brings
that.
me
This is-
happiness during this school semester,
Yeah, this is the
what are
only,
we doing?
This is the only thing that I'm enjoying in school.
Yeah, it's honestly the best thing we've done. And hopefully it lasts after school.
Woo!
Now, again, we've had Kit Martin joining us today, Zane Wilson, I'm Stephen Munn, and this is the Flim Films
That's so sad.
podcast. It is stupid, but it's so funny. Flim Films.
I liked it when we proposed it, but now saying it out loud in the podcast, I'm like, it's
Okay,
cheesy.
It
Work in
is cheesy,
progress.
but I think that's what's funny because we posed the cheesy idea, Flim Films, and then we're just like, yeah, so Clark's right, like there's a scene
Yeah,
right, and
I
there's
get
just it's out there. Zane, as a going away, can you hit me with one more jingle?
Bye.